Yo, what is up guys? Boris here coming to you guys with the other branch of the brand new Japan Colosseum. Now we went over Dawn Creek Chaos Colosseum last time. Today we're going to be going over the Ideo Colosseum. This guy looks to be really awesome, but let's go ahead and get started first with the levels, each 1 through 5, and I'll have a link to the game with article down below with all the characters, attacks, and everything. Again, just hit that link, right click, translate to English, and should be able to read it. Now, first off, guys, this boss is, competition for one of the tankiest Colosseum bosses of all time. We're starting off with Harujin, and he has 10 million HP. So what did I do? I ended up bringing a Fujitora friend captain, my standard Caesar Fuji team, since I don't own Fuji myself on JP. And pretty much just use Fuji for 4 turns. I brought Diamante for a little bit of stall. And then once I'm ready to go, just go ahead and pop Luffy and Trable and Caesar, and I should be good to go. This is bringing your strongest purple ambition units pretty much, and this should be one of the easiest ways to take him out. Otherwise, you could try double Shiryu, you could try a lot of different things, but this is probably going to be one of the best ways to do it. And once you do, it turns out that he's actually pretty easy to use this method. Now, next up, I do want to mention that this second stage Luffy on the first stage, you're gonna find a mini boss that's gonna increase, give you like a small orb boost and a small strength boost. So normally this Luffy fight would be really difficult, but you do have the ability here to use Cavendish if you have him. If not, I recommend bringing a Cavendish friend captain, and Luffy will paralyze you for 2 turns. So make sure to have those sockets as well, because he also will silence for 5 turns. And you want to pop Cavendish the first turn, that way after the 3rd turns of paralysis are over, you can just go ahead and use like a Dofi NL or Dofi Boa combo and pretty much try to one-shot Luffy if you can. Be careful, he does do a 30% health cut after the first turn, so keep that in mind. And he hits for about 5,656, which Gomu Gomu 5656, so pretty interesting. But yeah, this is overall again another pretty easy raid boss with Cavendish. So Cavendish is the key. Just remember to bring him, and you should be pretty good to go. He only has 3.56 million, and again, just showing off the power of Cavendish. The ability to get rid of previous buffs and give himself a boost is really OP. Now, if we move on to the third stage is gonna be Ivankov. Let's see. Ivankov is again, looks pretty difficult at first, but you can just bring up a Blackbeard friend captain and you should be perfectly okay. As you can see, I just go ahead and use Blackbeard's HP cut. You can stall them, so just go ahead and stall them. Diamante is really nice because he'll take out most of the guys in the back just with his special. And 2 turns of Sabo with Blackbeard really is all you need. I mean, of course, use some boosts like Dofi. Don't ask me why I brought Boa. I don't know. Boa is good, but every time I think about it, she makes your Captain Orb a food orb, so she's kind of tough to use. But I was planning on using her, but I said screw it. So as you can see, I mean that's a lot of damage. Just pop a Sabo next turn. Ivankov does recover for 200,000 every turn, so keep that in mind. And she also will enrage, so that's another thing to keep in mind as well. But again, it should not be a problem. 2 turns of Sabo should be more than enough, and 2 turns of Diamante will definitely take out the guys in the back, assuming you can get rid of the barrier. And yeah, again, just bring a Blackbeard friend captain, should be easy peasy. Now, stage 4 is a bit difficult. This is Blue Gilly. Blue Gilly, it's pretty interesting because you can't delay him, and he makes a bad orb rate increase, so I'm not too sure how that works, but I seem just an easy chance to get badly matching orbs. So you want to try to hold on to your green orbs. I didn't actually farm any green orbs in the previous room. Also, I brought out like a janky Blackbeard green team, but I figured I'd go ahead and try something different, And the trick to this is that below 50%, he will boost his attack by 1.75 times, and then below 20, he'll hit for 50,000. So pretty much, I would recommend stalling, or not stalling, but getting him as close to 50 as possible, and then bursting him down from there. Now the other thing is that when he revives, the reason we brought Blackbeard is he'll revive with 200,000 HP, and he'll get a defense up of about 27,000, but then also he'll put up a 5 good barrier. So He was going to be really difficult unless you have your Blackbeard friend captain. If you don't have a Blackbeard friend captain, you can still do it. It's just going to be tough dealing that much damage through a 5-hit barrier. But you know, it is possible. However, again, I just bring up Blackbeard friend captain. You can use the free Zoro. You know, the most is, other than the ace. The ace you could probably swap out for something else. I just use them for an orb block. You could use Poly. You could use whatever. But yeah, overall this is actually pretty difficult. But again, it showcases the power of Blackbeard and why he really is the king of the Colosseum. Most of these Colosseum units, bosses, they have barriers nowadays, and Blackbeard just gets rid of those. Now, final stage here, again, you can run, this is a 50 stamina, so you can run into all three. Hydrogen to me is the easy mode, personally I think, but expect to use Sabo on the mini boss. So you could use Sabo here if you needed to, and it definitely would help. And I feel like the other two would also require Sabo. So all that means is that you would have to stall a little bit on the final boss, but you should be fine. So as you can see here, again, just try to take him out. If you need to use Sabo, use Sabo. I was sort of risky a little bit. I thought I would have enough damage, and thankfully I did, but it could definitely gone wrong if I didn't hit all perfects or whatever. His exact HP, I believe, is 1 million. So if you can deal 1 million over 3 turns, should be good. And okay, so here comes Blue Gilly. Now Blue Gilly, he thought he was annoying in the previous room. This time he's not as bad because he only has 1.85 million HP. So what that means is that 2 turns of Cavendish will be enough to take him out. And you can take out the guys in the back by popping Diamante. I know you can't delay him, but the 70,000 a turn will actually be really nice for taking out the mobs in the back. And the rest of it is just attacking. Now keep in mind that Cavendish does lock his orbs for 2 turns. So that means that after the second turn, when he revives, Cavendish will still have that blue orb, which is actually enough to take out Blue Gilly. So that works out perfectly. Again, Cavendish, another unit that's really good for Colosseum. Good at taking out many bosses by himself, pretty much. And as you'll see here, I'm going to attack, and he's going to revive. How much he revives? For 150,000 this time, which is still really tough to take out without a Blackbeard friend captain. I'm sure there are other teams that can do it, but again, Blackbeard, king of the Colosseum. This guy is so good at taking out all the barrier guys. As you can see here, I only have a red orb and Cavendish's orb, but that is actually enough. Assuming you have Blackbeard friend captain. Alright, so there you go. And I actually wasn't sure if that was enough, but I just assumed it was, and it was. Now, an important thing to note about Ideo, guys, before I even start, is that he will, if you do a slot conversion, he will do interrupt and 30% damage, and you don't want to do orb conversion on this boss. Now he has 3.8 million, and starts off with a damage reduction for 1 turn, so keep that in mind. And every turn first turn he attacks for about 11,800, and then the rest of the turns he attacks for about 5,900. So the important thing to note here is that below 50 he does 17,700, and below 20% he does 30,000. So my trick here is to try to get him as close to 50% as possible, just like always, and just burst him down from there. Now also keep in mind, guys, that every 2 turns he cancels the effect. So the reason I didn't use Usopp on the first turn is because he will clear all debuffs, after the first turn. And then you have 2 turns, so you can use Usopp here. However, guys, I highly recommend, if you're using this team, to actually wait. And I would probably use Usopp when he... you can use either Usopp or Marco. It doesn't really matter which one, but you can use either Usopp or Marco on the turn you're going to burst, because he only deals 30,000, so you can tank a hit if you heal back to full. Or you can just use Usopp, and it gives you 3 turns of 3 turns to attack him. The other thing to know, guys, which I didn't do here, and you'll see here in a second, is you want to burst him down after he clears the debuffs. So as you'll see here, I sort of messed up, and I won't spoil it, but well, you know what it is. Pretty much I attacked him like a turn after he cleared debuffs. So that means I only had 1 turn. So see here, I probably could have bursted him down here, because he just cleared it, but I decided not to. Try to get some matching orbs with Marco. That is one thing. If you do choose to use Marco when you burst, then you can try to get some matching orbs and get some orb boost. You see here, I should have actually waited 1 more turn, because now what's going to happen is when he's Blackbeard, I'm gonna use Sabo and Marco, and then I'm gonna get him really low, but then he's gonna clear my debuffs and clear not debuffs, clear buffs and debuffs. So at that point I'm gonna be kind of screwed. And thankfully, as you'll see here, I got a bit of luck, and I did end up getting the orb on Diamante. Now the other thing to note here as well, guys, is that if you had to use Sabo on the third room, like I said, you could stall with him as long as you don't get him below 50, and just heal back up with Marco, and you could keep stalling until you did get him ready to go, and that would work as well. And there you go. So Ideo Coliseum, again, I messed up a little bit in this video, but overall I think it's pretty clean with this team. Keep in mind, guys, that this is a 50 stamina, so it is pretty difficult. And as Ideo for himself, he's a 2x orb booster for fighters, so he's pretty good. He's really awesome. However, I think actually he goes down to 13 turns, I believe. I think I saw someone max him already. So with that said, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully the walkthrough helps. Good luck farming Ideo if you have a fighter team like Jinbei, and until next time, guys, peace.